Hello everyone, welcome to week 2. So in week 2 we're going to learn about counter arguments and rebuttals. So here's the overview of the second week presentation. We're going to have a look at what are counter arguments, why counter arguments, effective counter arguments, key phrases to use, what are rebuttals, templates for introducing the rebuttals, where to put it, and example. Now, counter arguments. As I've mentioned in the first week, there are few ways of saying counter arguments, and also it's also known as counterclaims. So, counter arguments is considered as the opposite side. So the actual position of yours is claim or argument. So counter arguments means is the opposite side. So it argues against your claim. It can also be called as counterclaim. Why we must have counter arguments? First, addressing the claims of the opposition is an important component in building a convincing argument. It demonstrates your credibility as a writer. You have researched multiple sides of the argument and have come to informed decision. Third, it shows you have considered other points of view, that other points of view are valid and reasonable. And that's why it's important for us to actually look at counter arguments, not only our claims. Alright, effective counter arguments. It is considered the previous elements about your audience when you offer your counter arguments. You have to consider that, alright, your previous elements. Conceding to some of your opposition's concerns can demonstrate respect for their opinion. And third, you have to remain tactful yet firm. Using rude or deprecating language can cause your audience to reject your position without carefully considering your claim. So it is very important not to be rude, but to state your counter arguments in a polite manner. Now, some of the key phrases that you can use is, one might object that, it might seem that, it's true that, admittedly, of course. Now, let's move on to rebuttal. As I said, and I've mentioned this in the first week presentation, rebuttals actually refers to your original idea, your original position. It responds to and refute issues presented by the counterclaim with your rebuttal. And key phrases that you can use is like, but, yet, however, nonetheless, still. So here are some of the templates for introducing the rebuttals. So we can state, this argument, it can be overlooked, fails to consider, does not take into account, and continue a sentence. This view seems, looks, sounds convincing, plausible, persuasive at first, but what is it? While this position is popular, it is not supported by the facts, not logical, impractical, and the last one, although the core of this claim is valid, it suffers from a flaw in its reasoning, application, etc. So these are some useful templates that you can actually use in your writing. Now, where to place counterclaims or counter arguments and rebuttals? Now, some writers put the counter argument and rebuttal at the end before the conclusion. this is a normal situation where we have introduction, claim 1 paragraph, claim 2 paragraph, claim 3 paragraph. We have counter argument paragraph, rebuttal, and conclusion. So counter argument paragraph and rebuttal can go in the same paragraph, so that we can have about 6 paragraphs. Alright, 6 paragraphs of an essay. Now let's look at an example. What we say as claim. Alright, so claim here is the primary focus in medical end of life decisions should be a patient consent rather than doctor intention. For it is not a breach against a patient's right if he or she consents to the termination of their life. Counter argument. Counter argument means the opposite of the claim. It is often argued that terminally ill patients are likely to be depressed and therefore unable to consent to their hastened death in a balanced or acceptable way. Rebuttal. So rebuttal will support the idea and get back to the claim. Alright. However, depression can be managed. The relevance of depression must be made on a case-by-case basis. Depression does not warrant a general rule prohibiting patients from consenting to a hastened death. So, can you see that claim is in a positive manner? Alright. Counter argument is the other way around, and rebuttal is reverting back to the claim, to the original position. So, I hope you already come to the end of the second week and you're already clear with what is counter arguments, counter claims, and also rebuttals. With that, thank you.